presenter will be Diman Karagiozov. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diman Karagiozov, and I'm going to present you my work in the field of harnessing natural language processing technologies in the field of content management systems. And sorry, my presentation is in Bulgarian, but I will continue in English. First, I would like to say a few words about the problem that I'm going to address. We are all aware of the huge amount of information that is flooding us from different sources in different types and in different media. But beside the volume, we also have the aspect of multilinguality. And living in a multicultural Europe, we should take the multilinguality not as a problem, but as an asset which we should further develop, because this gives you can express a lot more in different languages than just compared to the translation in one. For example, English. But how to address this problem with the volume? There are various statistical approaches to find out what is relevant, what is not, what is important, what is not. But the pure statistics cannot give you the semantics, what is really all about. And the machines, computers, they cannot understand a given text. So using the language technologies can help the machines a little bit to understand a little bit more what a given piece of information is about, and thus the human beings, us, will be able to process more information on a daily basis. And why I chose the subject of my study to be the content management systems. This is because content management is all around us, like love is all around us, but content management is in our daily business. We every day read news and on their websites. This is powered by a content management system. Internally, all the documents in an organization are managed by a document management system, which in a way is a content management system as well. That's why what I'm going to present to you is how the language technologies, natural language processing, can optimize the processes that are performed in the content management systems, like text categorization, optimization of navigation, extraction of important entities, and so on and so forth. Firstly, I made a study on the state of the art, what is available at the moment in the field of the content management, and studied the life cycle of the content itself and what processes altered this life cycle. Further on, different methods for pre-semantic analysis have been studied, such as extraction of textual content, recognition of the language of a given text, conversion between different formats and different encodings, and so on. The second important field of study is what are the methods to extract semantic information from a text, like text segmentation as a mandatory step, but more important, extraction of name entities such as organizations, person locations, and more fine-grained like companies or international organizations. Extraction of important noun phrases which, according to the textbooks of grammatics, carry out the meaning of a document. Topics like automatic text categorization, document clustering, text summarization also can help and can streamline the processes happening in the content management systems. Last but not least, the machine translation. Even if the quality of the machine translation is not as good as a human translator could do, the machine translation engines help us to cross, in a way, the language barrier and handle the different texts afterwards in a more or less language independent way. As a conclusion to the study of the state of the art, it appeared that the language technologies for the English language are a lot more developed than for all other languages, which in a way has a rational explanation. The US and United Kingdom are quite rich countries, and they invest a lot in this because they believe that the future is in making computers understand more information. However, the language technologies are developed on a per language. There are very few systems that are multilingual in this aspect, that handle in the very same way 2 or more different languages. So I call them, the current set of language technologies are monolingual in a way. And last but not least, the language technologies are poorly integrated in the content management systems. And my explanation for this is that this process is not well described. The hardware resources needed for the language technologies currently is quite high, and further on, with the massive amount of data that should be processed, makes the solution even more complicated. That's why the core of my study is to develop a conceptual model, and afterwards, of course, build a prototype on this model, but develop a conceptual model that tries to describe the process of integrating of language technologies in software systems, and namely content management systems. So, based on my experience with content management, I developed several, actually a dozen use cases how the language technologies should be used in content management systems. Further on, I developed a set of criteria which afterwards can measure whether the model is successful or not. Then I developed a model of the data model that formalizes all the semantic information that we are currently processing. The architecture suggested is to use a component-based model, which in a way addresses also the issue of big data compatibility. Okay, I'll skip this slide. And I'll tell you a few words on the challenges and the restrictions that this model has, or met when I was developing it. Firstly, the available NLP technologies, they are heterogeneous, implemented in different programming languages using different input and output data. The quality is very different from English to Bulgarian to German, for example. They're not very compatible with the big data paradigm. And one problem that is currently open is that we should be able to identify similar or identical semantic annotations in different languages, which is through machine translation cannot happen straightforward. Okay. Then we developed a prototype which exemplifies this conceptual model, and in the implementation, each of the components follows the principles of low coupling and high cohesion, and they work asynchronously using messaging queue for communication. The prototype was integrated in a content management system called Atlas. This is an outcome of a EU-funded project which ended 2 years ago. And very important for me was the phase of the testing and verification of the prototype. It was carried out as a separate activity in the Atlas project, but just briefly, there was a technical testing and user-based testing where more than 300 users tested the prototype with very different profiles, from students to content management experts. Here are some results on the technical level, which measures the quality of each component, but most importantly for me is the results from the users, where they generally say that the usage of language technologies increase their productivity while working on a daily basis, and also they are happy with the set of the functionalities offered by the model. Two issues were found out by the users, that the quality still can be improved, and also the performance of the system. These issues has been addressed accordingly, and two real systems, not a prototype, are already available, documented.bg and MediaTalk. And as a conclusion, I'll be very short. The future work, this is still work in progress, and there are, of course, ways to improve the quality, ways to make the system faster, and also the issue that I mentioned in the beginning, that the equality and similarity between semantic elements in different languages is an open issue. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Really very interesting and innovative ideas and technology development. The full course of research and development. Yes.
Thank you. In fact, well, Diman is just defended the preliminary defense of the dissertation. I would like to ask you to tell in a few words about the functionality of the two systems you mentioned, because that might explain better to people from in the room about the possible applications. Just
the first system that I mentioned is documented.bg. This is a document management system which can be used to organize the documents in an organization or your personal documents using the language technologies. We index the these documents in order to increase their findability. Imagine the case in a lawyer company with an archive of 10 years with more than 20 million different documents, some of them scanned, some of them in different versions of Word, for example, some of PDF. The system document.bg can import these documents and process them in a way that afterwards the lawyers can find out cases back to the... And the other system is called MediaTalk. This is a system for monitoring the media stream. It's implemented for Bulgarian medias and also for English like BBC, CNN, ABC and all other major news providers. It analyzes the news stream, finds out the major actors, the events that happened, and presents a very brief overview of what has happened today or yesterday. And we are working on some algorithms to try to tell what will happen tomorrow, but this is the future.
Why not? Thank you. Are there any questions?
So, if you allow me,
Yes.
because you mentioned context analysis, so do you look for not obvious connections in text, as you noted, media analysis, and try to forecast for the future? So you should take a look not on the rest, but also on the formal relations. Do you do this, and do you take any idea about not only on the content but the context that it's putting?
Well, it depends on the quality of the language technologies. Actually,
In the development.
in our development, what we are using is coreference change resolution that, in a way, identifies. Actually resolves the pronouns so that on this level, but this is linguistic analysis. It's still what is written in the text is what we get. Still, we do not take into account like metaphors or some more complex linguistic constructions that may have a hidden meaning. For this, very specific ontologies could be used, and the model actually allows integration of external multilingual or monolingual ontologies and other resources like lexicons. As soon as there is one, we can apply it to improve again the quality and the level of understanding of the text.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? No. Thank you. Thank you very much again.